Hey, hi. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Master Random the podcast. This episode, before I get to the sponsorships, please don't forget to leave a rating and or a review on the Apple Podcast app if you're listening to it on that platform. Any ratings or reviews can help the podcast go up or down, preferably up in the charts and be seen nationally and recognized. And it'd be cool to have a Guam podcast up in that area. So now for the sponsorships. This episode is brought to you by Addis Mortuary. You're going to die, and if no one's ever told you that, why not be prepared to do so? You know, it can come at any moment. Why not make it the most beautiful thing and the best top of the line service that you can possibly get on this island through Addis Mortuary? They are a small family owned and operated mortuary that's been serving this local community on Guam for 45 years, 47 years to be exact. And they've have been providing this top of the line funeral service and cremation services during a time when it's absolutely needed the most. It could be for you. You won't know it's for you, or it can be for someone that you love or someone that you care for. Why not make it beautiful? Why not go to Addis Mortuary? If you're looking for more information on services and plans, contact 477-1311, area code 671, of course, or visit the mortuary at South Route 4, Sinanya. This is on your way down from Sinanya down to Ordit. As you pass the gas stations at the bottom of the hill on your left-hand side is the mortuary, and that's where you can find them. They are big enough to serve, yet small enough to care. This episode is also brought to you by the Electric Island Festival. Do you like music? Do you love music? Have you ever been to an EIF? Where have you been? Under this rock? If you've been living on this rock, you know that the Electric Island Festival is entering its 7th season on Saturday, June 22nd, inside the Guerrero Field at Paseo. And I like that they're having it at Guerrero Field rather than Paseo Stadium, because having it in the stadium is more detrimental to the recreational activities that people engage in, baseball particularly, at that stadium. So at Guerrero Field, which is behind the Paseo Stadium, on Saturday, June 22nd, I will be seeing you at the Electric Island Festival, Guam's premier electronic music festival. The tickets are available at all food locations. I'm assuming all food locations is all the major main players who are always getting a part of these concerts and festivals and stuff like that. Or you can purchase it online easily at eif-guam201.eventbrite.com. That's it. Sponsors done. Now, my next guest on the show, he is a ninja warrior. The first time I ever heard of a ninja warrior, I was still in high school. And to have one sitting across from me, not only sitting across from me, but he is also from Guam. He took his steps while he was on foreign soil over in the UK to become a ninja warrior. And he's so humble about it. He's absolutely so humble about being one of the best in the nation to participate and partake in these obstacle courses, and they're not easy. If you ever watch the Japanese version or the American version, you have to be athletically fit to do these things. And he is so as such, and his story is awesome. From finding his way over in the UK and sort of expanding it as he moved back to the United States, and how he plans to bring it here to Guam. So enjoy my conversation with Guam's ninja warrior, Deren Perez, on the podcast, Master Random. Check it out. Deren Perez, welcome to the podcast. I've never met you in my life before, but I feel like I know you because I follow you on Instagram, and it's not a usual thing you would find people getting into being a ninja warrior. I was trying to think back. I was like, okay, when's the first time I ever like heard about Ninja Warrior? And I was in high school. This is like 2003, 2004 when it came to G4. I was a big G4 fan and big nerd, you know, Attack of the Show, stuff like that, right?
Oh, yeah. I used to watch it too.
Yeah. And Ninja Warrior would come on and it was the Japanese version.
Yeah, Sasuke.
Right. And it felt like a little bit more extreme than what it is today. Right. And I think the commentary was the best part because it was only in English subtitles, but it was
you
like
hear the Japanese guy yelling, "Oh,
and it's
no
like,
idea what he's saying."
Right, and it's like the model has tried this before and failed. Let's see if he'll do it this time. You know?
I think that of all of those, my favorite was Mr. Octopus, or the old man who always had like an octopus with him, and he'd never passed like the first few steps.
So was it? For Sasuke, was it like a serious thing mixed in with something more fun? Because I know Japanese television and Japanese entertainment, they more cater themselves more to that fun side, right?
So I think there's definitely the serious side and then the fun side of it. Because I mean, if you only do one, you know, you're only gonna get one particular set of audience. Whereas if you get a wide range, you know, then you get like a little bit of everything.
Like get someone who can do it and get someone who like really can't do it.
Yeah, it's exactly it. So I mean, I definitely loved at the beginning all the funny parts. I was just laughing, and then towards the end, like stage 2, stage 3, that's when it started to get real serious and
it's like kind of like sifting out all the
the funny competitors.
Right. All the people who aren't worthy of Mount Moriyama or
Mount Midoriyama.
Midoriyama. Never. So how did you get into it?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on this show.
Of course.
This is great. Just like you said, watching Sasuke on TV, that's exactly how I got into it. So I was in the UK. I was stationed there, and I was sitting on the couch watching the Japanese show on TV. Just happened to come on. I was sitting there, and my wife came up to me. She's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "You got to sit down. You need to watch this. This thing is hilarious. It's great. It's fun." And so we watched the full episode, and she was like, "I actually think you can do something like that." And I was like, I was thinking the same thing. She goes, "Okay, cool." So little to my knowledge, she's like, "Okay, we're going to look it up." And she's like, "Hey, there's an event going on, Ninja Warrior, in London." I was like, "Okay." So she talked me into signing up for it, and I signed up for it.
How far were you guys from London?
About 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're down in Plymouth. 4-hour drive up there. And by this time, the event I went to, it was their third event. And each event hosted like 500 plus competitors. And no one's ever completed both courses. And little did I know that I was the first person to have ever completed the entire course. And when they came up and gave me the medal, they're like, "This is the only medal we've ever given away of this size." It was the bigger version. I was like, "Cool. No idea. Like, thanks." And they're like, "No, you have no idea what you just did." And it started to sink in as more and more people explained to me what I did. And I was like, hold up.
How many years had they been running the event?
So that was their third event. And they only been running it for about, I want to say a few months.
Okay.
But like I said, each time they had the event, there was like 500 plus competitors.
I see.
And so by the third event, you know, there's 1,500 people that's gone. And I was the first person to do it.
What year was this around?
2000 and... I want to say late 15.
Okay.
Yeah. And
also fairly, I mean, not recent, but fairly recently within the decade.
Yeah.
You really like put yourself headstrong into
Yeah. I just went straight for it. Again, not any training, nothing. I just went into it and just trying it out. And my first event, you know, I was like, I think I got a natural talent for this.
Yeah.
So I continued to pursue that.
What's your background? At least athletics? Were you an athlete in high school, middle school?
Actually, it's a funny story. So I did play basketball, in high school, but before that, I never really had any like real background. Like a lot of people on the show, they'll have parkour or climbing, gymnastics.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of that stuff, and it's funny because, being around friends, we tend to tell people our life stories growing up, and one of the things I used to tell people, I grew up in Guam, playing in the jungles and all that. And so my friends used to make the joke and call me Mowgli because I grew up just playing on the trees, jumping around and all that. And that's really, I think, like how I've developed a sense of like agility and in my background, because I literally just every summer, day in and day out, I'm up in that tree until the sun goes down.
Swinging on trees.
Yeah.
What part of Guam did you grow up in?
From Santa Rita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
down south.
Yeah. And so it seems like it's just naturally bred into you to be, or you maybe subtly you had no idea that you were training yourself for this moment.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I think. I was like, somehow, some way, I was training myself for this, and it all worked out.
Right. Okay. So 2015, you've realized that you've done something that no one's ever done. What's going through your mind, at least?
At that point, I was just really trying to let it sink in. Like, no, there's no way. This doesn't happen to me, type stuff. And I really bring up my wife a lot in this because she supports me a lot in everything that I do, and she really builds my my character, and this has supported me by telling me every day, like, no, you've done this. Here's the facts. Here's the odds. And I'm a very factual person. I base all my knowledge on facts, and it all points to me going this direction. And here I am now, 2019, been on 4 different shows in 3 different countries, and doing pretty well. So I'm glad I listened to her and continue to follow my passion.
Yeah, for sure. What was the pool like, right? What, and like size comparison, and what did it make you sort of see? What you thought was maybe a disadvantage for you ultimately maybe came an advantage.
We talking about the that first competition, or just in
I guess just in general then. Yeah.
Well, I would say what I felt was a disadvantage for me was, like I mentioned earlier, not having parkour background or any real background in any like sports. I mean, I did play basketball in high school, but I mean, it was like 2 years.
Not like we're dunking and doing pull-ups on the rim, right?
No, none of that stuff. So, I really felt that disadvantage was not having any real background. So, that did kind of stop me a little bit, or I would say not stop me, demotivate me. Once I got past that mental blockage, it was free going from there.
Yeah, you it seems like you felt like since you didn't have a handle, sort of the coordination. I can imagine the coordination it requires to propel yourself into the air, to have extra grip, to hold on to something that's swinging you, that physics doesn't allow you to go into that forward momentum while your body's being jerked back. You somehow have to keep it going. But I would think your small size and your smaller frame would be more of a better center of gravity for you to.
Well, I guess in this sport, it really, they say a lot smaller people have a better advantage, but I have some guys who are like 6'6", 6'7", doing this sport, and they can fly just as high. It's just more body control of knowing your body and your limits. So once you know your body and get to know it really well, you can do pretty much anything when you're in the air.
Yeah.
You just got to really know how to move and let go at the right time and all that. So,
Matt, you want to see what I do when I throw myself into the air?
the cat, the falling cat.
Try to grab something for dear life.
Yeah,
grabbing air particles at that point.
Pull yourself up somehow.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, were you at least training in anything to get your body in physical shape? What is the physical requirements to have to be a ninja warrior?
So, over the years, I've learned, the main thing, two main things actually, would be upper body strength and balance. So just talking about upper body, when I mean upper body, it's more of your back, your lats, all that kind of stuff hanging. So a lot of my training is based around pull-ups, variations of pull-ups on different things. You know, from hanging nunchucks to hanging cannonballs, what they call them, to anything and everything I can possibly hang on for as long as I can. And I just do a lot of repetitions.
Seems like you guys are like the parkour / rock climber, right? / gymnast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like the mixed martial arts of Ninja Warrior, right?
Yes, exactly. You can say that, yeah. But I mean, I've never heard it put that way, but that's a good analogy.
Yeah, I mean, mixed martial artist knows a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So I mean, I actually nowadays I do bouldering a lot, which is rock climbing without harness and only up to I think it's 15 feet. It's the max for gyms. But yeah, I do a lot of that now. I kind of do parkour a little bit. Not really like in the gym, but just, you know, out and about when I'm out in town, I see something, I'll run and jump it because.
Just for the hell of it.
Just for fun.
Hold my beer.
Watch this.
Yeah, watch this. So I mean, I've always envied people who have that sort of upper body strength, because I was never an upper body strength kind of guy.
Okay.
You know, I can never do the back flips or the front flips or the flag pull, you know,
yeah.
or the human, right? The human flag.
Human flag, yeah. Actually, those are, I was never able to do that kind of stuff either. And I just seen those on YouTube clips, Instagram, and those are so cool. And I dedicated a full year of just learning calisthenics, and it was not an easy process, but eventually I finally learned how to do the human flag, front levers, back levers, and handstands. All these stuff were just...
You're like that black dude in the park that's going like, you know, like he's like doing the wheelchair, and he's like,
oh, that guy's... I seen that. That guy's good.
And he like flips his body up, right?
No, that's way out of my league. But those things are cool. I like watching that kind of stuff.
So you mentioned the calisthenics. It took some time to really get used to, and was it more of a mental thing of having to repetitiously do? Is that even a word?
Well, we're gonna make it a word.
We're gonna make it a word today. To be repetitive over a certain workout over and over and over again. I'm sure it can get frustrating. And
it does get frustrating. I think the thing that helped motivate me more was I was actually deployed during this time on a ship, and we were going like around the world, Middle East, down to Antarctica, up to South America. But on that deployment, I downloaded a few YouTube videos beforehand so I can watch them and learn. And the thing I found most difficult was the strength conditioning, because without having that strength to do the actual moves, the poses, I mean, you're pretty much, you're going to end up hurting yourself or injuring something.
Right.
And that's the one thing I read was, do not try these moves until you have the strength. So I was like, I'm not hurting myself. So I did it the proper way. Well, I mean, I don't know if YouTube's proper, but I did it the proper way.
The customary way.
The customary way. The millennial way, I should say.
Right.
Yeah. And so once I got that all done, you know, on that 9-month deployment, that's when I learned all these things. And I think it was a bit harder at times, because trying to do a flag while the ship's moving back and forth, it's not an easy task.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And little do you know, you're working like all the little tiny muscles, right?
Exactly.
That you never knew, wondering why your muscle and your between your finger and your thumb is.
Yeah, I always tease my kids, you know, like, you know, I'm so strong that even my hands got muscles, you know.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I have a cousin who has that muscle, and he goes like this, and it like pops up from playing video games.
Well, I guess I got to start training.
Yeah. That's a good training. Might be a good training. Yeah. So it really took you having to dive deep into understanding the minuscule parts of your body.
Yeah. So my hands really, I never knew all the different muscles you have in your hands until like one day I'm doing something and it's like, why is this hurting? What is there? And there's a muscle there.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah, because I joined jiu-jitsu recently, and
Nice.
like grip strength and stuff like that, and grips is like a huge thing.
Yeah.
If you can hold a grip, you can hold a guy in place for a while, is what I'm learning.
Right.
And so over time, I'm like, wow, my grips are getting fairly stronger than this. Like, open up a pickle jar, it's like, it's like, oh damn, that was
I got this.
yeah, that wasn't tough at all. but it took having to really put my hands through the motions of gripping every single time, whether you're doing hard grips or soft grips, because you're exerting energy, right? So if you're exerting too much grip strength, you're eventually gonna blow out everything else.
Yeah. So you have to build them up like together. That's what I've learned. I've also read a lot about Bruce Lee and how he did a lot of his training, and I studied that a little bit. And one of the things I saw was something as simple as a door frame, or I'm sorry, a door itself. So you grab the door and you pinch grip, and you put your feet at the base, locking your knees, working your way all the way down hand by hand. And I was like, that doesn't sound very hard. And I went for it, and the first few times I just kept falling right down on my butt, and I was like, wow, this man knows, it's Bruce Lee. He knows what he's talking about.
No, it was the paint. It was the
It's
paint.
the paint.
Of the Zero greens. Yeah, dude. So what was you said it was a process to let your muscles work together eventually. What was it that you had to go through exactly?
So I used to actually lift weights a lot, so I need to cut that out, because obviously with Ninja Warrior, the more you weighed, the heavier you have to carry yourself.
Right.
So I did cut out lifting weights. So I concentrated on light weights. So
can you just move the mic up a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, I concentrated on lifting like lighter weights to help build the strength rather than building muscle mass. And then also whenever I work forearms or fingers, I have to work out biceps as well, because if you're working too much of one muscle, you can have an overgrowth, and I didn't want to do that.
Like isolating muscles, like always doing biceps, and you have the biceps.
Yeah, have you ever seen guys who walk in the gym and chicken legs?
Yeah.
It's because they overwork everything up except for their legs.
Right.
And imagine you breaking down your arms into 3 parts. You got your hand, you got your forearm, and you got your bicep and triceps. And if you only work one part of that, you can end up having like a chicken tricep or something. I don't know, but basically you got to work them together.
Your arm will be swinging down like this.
Yeah. Like you've seen those guys who arm wrestle.
Right.
Just their right arm, their forearm is just massive.
Right. Right. Dude, are you able to get into the guest one? So go back, get out of that. I want to see, go into the guest one. I want to see how big these arm wrestle dudes are, because it's only one side of their body is like
one side, and
it's like super huge, right?
And they're hiding it behind, and then they walk out and they're just like, what I get myself into?
The fuck did you get that arm?
Some Popeye up in here,
Yeah, dude. And can you imagine the grip exercises, or even the arm exercises that they put themselves through, but putting themselves in an abnormal state, right?
Yeah. It's just
like, what are you working out today? Right arm.
Right arm. Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, if that's their sport, their passion, more to them. But geez, that's those guys are just big old arm.
Yeah, so I'm guessing a regular gym doesn't work for you. Like, you just can't go to a regular gym and hit the weights. And
so interesting about that analogy. So for me, most Ninja Warriors will tell you, no, you can't do that. However, with me, there was no Ninja Warrior gym near me. I mean, the nearest one was like 2.5 hour drive. So what am I supposed to do? I lived in an apartment, so I couldn't build something outside. And it was in the UK, so it's like, what do I have when it's raining all the time? I can't build anything, and the nearest gym is 2.5 hour drive. I go to a normal gym, and I visualize what the obstacles are on the course, and I will use a machine to replicate the movement. So like a salmon ladder, for example, there are a lot of explosive pull up, and then you got to move the bar up.
You said a salamander?
Salmon ladder.
Oh, okay. Salmon ladder.
Yeah.
That's the one where it's like it's the bar,
bar, and you have to do like a pull up and then lift the bar onto the next rung.
Okay.
So, I've never, other than that one competition, I'd never done that before, and I struggled on it. And I was like, well, how do I get better at this without actually having it? So I'll go to the lat pull down machine, and I wouldn't put on anything heavy, just something to help get me the explosive power
with a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, with some resistance. So I just keep pulling down, and I just do repetitions of that. And obviously, the second half of that movement is to throw a bar up. So I'll just grab an empty barbell. I mean, it's 45 pounds, so that's more than enough. And I'll just practice the movement going up, and I'll just repeat that over and over and over again. The next time I got in a salmon ladder, it was slightly different, obviously, because it's a full motion rather than in between. But it was definitely easier from the first time I've done it from the second time.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really using your imagination to get it done.
Modifying typical workouts and sort of breaking it down in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Breaking down the full range of motion into a
certain parts.
Piece-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like it's been beneficial to you in that sense, right?
Yeah. When you have nothing, I mean, you have to create something. Otherwise, you're just making excuses, and that's how I feel.
Right. So how long was it before you got to your second event? From the first time you tried it,
but the first time I tried it, it was probably about
everybody.
It was probably about, I want to say, 2 or 3 months later. That's when I got into the next event, and that was another Ninja Warrior event where it was at 3 stages. And these are guys who are on the TV show who were like my heroes on the UK Ninja Warrior. And I've been watching them, and they're like, second in the country, third in the country, and these guys are top notch.
So is it like a regional event? Or?
No, it was just a local Ninja Warrior event, but anyone's invited. And these guys who do Ninja Warrior all the time, they just happen to be there. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get my ass smoked here. But I ended up making it to stage 3 with them. I didn't place in the top 3, but I did place in the top 5. So I was coming, from my second event next to these guys who are like second in the whole country. I felt really good with my position where I was at.
What's going through your mind now?
At that point?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Well, I was devastated. I was like, damn it, first in my first event, and now I'm 5th in my second event.
But you're literally still a rookie.
Yeah, I was still a rookie at that time.
Amateur, right?
Yeah, amateur. And I was just me being, the competitive person I am. I was like, no, this is not happening. I need to train harder and better and all that. And I've been applying for the show, seasons 1, 2, 3, nothing. Finally got my shot just 2 years ago on Ninja Warrior UK. And when I got my shot, I cleared every single stage until the stage 3. And I made actually UK history. I was the first person to beat the crazy cliffhanger and make it to the obstacle right before Mount Midoriyama, where I fell, and I became second in the country of the UK.
Damn.
So the training has definitely gone up.
And how many events were you in at that point?
So by that point, I've done American Ninja Warrior, but I only made it to the city finals, and I've done quite a few like local competitions, but that was probably my second like TV show at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second in the country. That's amazing. It's not like local circuit, regional circuit, and then national circuit.
So the way the TV show works is you have what they call is the heats. So you have 4 heats, and they had 60 competitors per heat. And what happens is everyone who I think it's top 15 per heat. So in my heat, I had the fastest time, and I was first place. And then after the heats of those 4 heats, they take the top 15 So 30 will go to the semifinals, and then the other 30 will go to the second semifinals. And basically, they take, I think it's top 30 overall. And then I passed that as well. I think I ranked in the top 3. And then once you pass the semifinals, then you're into the grand finale, which is just stages 1, 2, 3, and 4. And from there, it's not, they don't take the top 20 or 30. It's you have to clear in order to move on.
Do you get a chance to do practice runs or anything like that?
No practice runs at all. All they do is they take you into the course, tell you the rules, do one demonstration, and any questions you may have. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're literally depending, because I would imagine you would want to run certain lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're dependent on your route you're going to take or certain steps that you need to take.
Yeah,
to get to this.
You're basically relying on your imagination at that point of how well can you do based upon the one person that you saw running. And obviously the one person who does it is a course tester who does it for a living. So the course is going to make it look easy, you know? So it's like...
He's like, you're just going to swing here and then jump here.
And levitate here.
Levitate here. And then I'm going to double cartwheel over the water onto the springs. I was like,
landing with one hand. Yeah. I mean, those guys they're good, but it's like, really? That's what I have to base my, my decision on, is this guy who's so good.
It's literally past experiences that's going to get you to, but these are on like grand scales, right? Because I would assume, I have a lot of assumptions here because I know nothing about like the Ninja Warrior stuff besides watching it on G4. But that was about it.
Yeah. And
I would assume that it'll be in places like maybe like a CrossFit box or
like local ninja gyms in the States nowadays, they actually have gyms dedicated
okay.
just for Ninja Warrior.
It's just not here in Guam yet.
Yeah, not in Guam yet. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay.
There's some behind the scenes working into that. So
nice.
Once that happens,
you hear it first. That's random.
I'll definitely let you know. It's a long process. I will say that.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. So it's American, or it's a Ninja Warrior gyms for people who are dedicated to the craft.
Sport. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you train out of any particular one?
San Diego, I thought would have a lot. That's why I kind of requested San Diego, but the nearest one is up in LA, and that's also a 2.5 hour drive. So, but I do have a backyard now. Right. So I did build a miniature rig, and I have a salmon ladder, pegboard, spinning pull-up bar, some things to hang stuff. So I do train out of my own house, and so everything I'm doing now, it's still my own training. No one's training me. I'm not training with somebody. Everything
like a team or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
So a lot of people get into this, been training with the greats, and et cetera. And whereas I'm doing everything on my own accord, on my own dime, no sponsors, no training partner, no coach. And so I'm really proud to say that because I'm self-made.
For sure.
So that's something I'm really proud of.
Literally backyard style.
Right. So, and to anyone out there, like, if there's any kids who happen to be listening to this, I really love to say, like, don't let anyone stop you. Don't let your situation stop you, because I grew up here in Guam too, and I grew up in let's just say my playground was the jungle. So from there you can tell how much I actually had.
Right.
So it's a mindset.
Yeah, your limitations are only what your mind is capable of.
What you set your mindsets.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. So I mean, so you go to these events out of your own accord with no affiliated backing or anything like that?
Yeah, that's correct. Nothing. So I've done American Ninja Warrior UK twice now. I did the Philippines. I got first place there. I did Barbados. I got second place there, and I literally just got back from Vietnam, Sasuke, Vietnam. So I travel around a lot, and everywhere I go, I'm always flying our flag, right?
Right.
I'm from Guam, and not many people meet people from Guam, and naturally,
especially in that little world too.
yeah,
right?
in that small community. So they, because you don't nickname yourself, they given me the nickname Guam's Ninja Warrior. Because, oh yeah, who's that guy? Oh, that guy's from Guam. Oh, Guam's Ninja Warrior. So I was like, okay. And my god brother, working with him, caught wind of kind of what's going on, the nickname, and PDN kind of put it in the back of their the newspaper last year. And so he's like, wait, we're gonna make some shirts, and copying the symbol, but made it Guam style. So I really digging the shirt, and just because it's the seal, but it's also the American Ninja Warrior seal, but Guam style. So,
right.
Yeah,
right.
I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that you've opened up many doors for yourself by taking a chance on yourself.
Yeah, it's taking that chance was probably the scariest part, because you're going there. A lot of the time there's no prize money, and you're going just for the love of the sport, and it costs like a few $1,000s sometimes.
When did you know you were falling in love with it? And it wasn't like a chore to want to do this.
When I knew was when I did the competition, the first one, right? I didn't know like for sure, but I kind of had that addiction. Say, oh, I like this. I got a taste for this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second I knew,
shit, you got first place.
Yeah, so that's a good taste, right?
right.
So from there, I think it was my second competition, what we talked about earlier, where I got 5th place, was like, this is not like acceptable for me. And I knew I was addicted. I knew that I was like, this is for me, because I want to have that feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah.
That feeling of self-worth. You know what I mean? So it's like every time I complete a competition, whether I come in 3rd, 2nd, or 1st, I'm always hungry for more. I've come in competitions in the States, some regional comps, area competitions, and I came out 1st place. And my wife always complains to me, not complains, but she always like, okay, what did you do wrong? 'Cause she sees it in my face, like, I'm happy that I got it, but I'm always not criticizing, but critiquing myself. What could I have done better? What could I have done more like technically efficient? And she's like, what do you want? You beat the last guy by 30 seconds. I could have gone faster here. It's just one of those things, where it's like, I know I could have done better, because I want to improve. It's more about self-improvement rather than just simply winning a little competition.
Yeah, as a whole, when you're doing the course, it looks good,
Mm-hmm.
but as the person running it, you're more paying attention to where and how you're stepping to improve, to create efficiency, right, with your body.
Exactly.
Ah.
Yeah, so that's when I knew, it was like, okay, the fact that winning 1st place is not my my drug, so to speak. It's the how do I become better. That's when I knew it's a passion, not a job, because getting 1st place, okay, that's the job, right? That's what everyone wants to do, get 1st place.
Yeah.
Well, when 1st place is not really what you're aiming for, because I can have the best run of my life and come in 2nd, 3rd place, and I'll be happy as long as I know that I ran efficiently the way I go.
That's very interesting, because you can get 1st place and not be happy with your run.
Exactly. Yeah.
That just sounds like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. I know. It's
do you find that as maybe like a fault or fallacy in yourself, or is that something that'll continue to drive you?
I think that actually is thinking of the silver lining. I think that works in my favor, because I'm always self-driving, like, what can I do better? So that's where the motivation comes from. Like, if I lost that, be honest with you, there's days where it's like, why am I doing this? I don't want to work out. I just want to be a bum today. And it's like, no, that drive kicks in, and I end up like pushing myself harder than I initially wanted to. So really, I think that drive to be better at I guess some people call it perfectionist, but having that really smooth run is my ideal of training. Is like, I need to get to that. So my push for that really is what drives me to go.
Yeah. It's become an obsession for you.
Yeah.
Completely obsessed.
You sound like my wife right now.
Even the way I looked at you, you are obsessed.
You stared deep into my soul.
And my professors at the Vigo Jiu-Jitsu Academy, they tell me it's like the times that you don't want to come are the best times that you should come, because those are the times that you know that you want to, like this is something that you enjoy doing or you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's when you'll work the hardest, is when you don't want to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Something that my wife, she says she learned from me, or that she likes that I am, is when I'm tired and I'm just not in the mood, that's where I want to be when I want to work out. Because there will be days in a competition where, because when you do filming for Ninja Warrior in the UK,
right,
you do filming on on a Friday, then 2 days later do filming again, 2 days later do filming again,
right.
And you're there from morning until like night. So like 7 a.m. I'm there until like 7 o'clock at night, just sitting around waiting for that one run, doing interviews, people talking to you, all that kind of stuff. So by the time I actually run, I'm just mentally exhausted and tired and just want to go away, go to sleep. So it's like, if I'm training like that at my house in my comfort zone, when the actual time comes to perform, it's going to be easy, because
it shouldn't be a problem,
because that's how you train. And the same thing with I can assume with jiu-jitsu, like the tournaments. I mean, I've seen some of those tournaments.
I've never competed, for the record. Yeah, I've never.
But I've seen the tournaments where it's just like tournament, like match after match after match, and it's a whole day thing, and you're just like, that's tiring, And
for sure.
So when you're like in that mindset of training when you're already exhausted, then that's where the mental game comes into play, and that's how that's at least how I see it. That's how you like level up, so to speak, because you're at that point of wanting to quit, and you can either quit or push on.
Right.
So.
And that's how you break that barrier.
Yeah, exactly. You break that barrier, and then you become better.
Similar to dogs, they say the best way to train a dog is to make them extremely tired, and they're more willing. They're in that passive aggressive state to where they're more willing to want to learn to do something.
Right.
And it'll stick with them. I don't know. Just trying to make an analogy, and I feel like it's not working out as I'm saying it.
We understand you.
Thank you. That's just what I
training
felt.
Comparing to learning dogs.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I guess just making yourself tired, right? Pushing yourself to that limit of saying no more, but also convincing yourself that more is okay.
Yeah,
right.
That old saying of digging deep, because that's where it counts. So
right.
Yeah.
What has this done for you mentally?
The training portion.
Yeah, I guess the whole experience of diving yourself into this world. What was your mindset before you did this, and what is it like now? How has it helped evolve it or shape it in any way, if at all?
So before I even got into all this, my mindset was just like, I guess your normal person was, okay, I'm gonna do this when I feel like it, and because when you do workout, I know a lot of people agree with me. It's like, oh yeah, I'm ready, I'm motivated, and then they give it the raw. It's like, oh, the best workout I had, and then the next day you're sore, you're tired. Like, I earned that. Yesterday I can skip today because I earned it.
Right.
And that's exactly how my mentality worked. And then once I got myself into that situation of, crap, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but I compete like, it's my turn up in like, 5 minutes. And at home, I normally quit. I earned, my time off. Or here is, it's not the end of the competition. You ain't earning nothing. So I failed, and I realized I need to train those moments of when I'm tired and exhausted. So by training those moments and keep on pushing myself to do those, it made a lot of life-changing like events in my life. So eventually our diet started to change. We're not vegan, no offense to the vegan people and all that, but
but plants aren't good, all the time.
I love my veggies, but I need meat.
I need meat too.
I will say though, I do take like vegan recipes and they're good. I'll just add like some chicken and stuff like
zucchini pasta, I'm down for that. That's some good
zucchini
shit.
pasta with chicken.
Yeah. I was very hesitant about trying it one time, and it's actually good, and you can't really tell.
Yeah,
there's another one, jackfruit. People it's like a pork, like a barbecue pulled pork, pulled jackfruit, quote unquote. And you can't tell the difference.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. I really do like vegan food. I just have to have my meat. Need protein. But going back to like training and the mindset, it's just my wife and I ended up the way I train, right? The mindset when you're tired and all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, well, we didn't apply that just to our workout lives. We ended up applying that to like our regular lives. So with our kids, kids are a headache. They're tired. Like, I don't want to deal with you. Just shut up, do your homework, and go to bed.
Right.
So it definitely taught us patience. It taught us how to interact and be better parents.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've applied just having that mindset, because when you work out and you're tired, right? Obviously, it's a mental state too.
Does she do it also?
She does. She actually sometimes she's my motivation right now. I mean, she does Insanity, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't do that stuff.
I've tried it a few times. It's pretty hard.
It hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts. As much as I love to swing through the air, she'd kick my ass Insanity any day, any day of the week.
It's all the level changes that get me with Insanity.
Yeah,
you're like going up, going down, going up. All right, sit down. All right, stand up. All right, get on your knees. All right.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go throw up first, and then I'll be back.
Yeah, it's
pause it.
She always goes. She goes, "Have fun, Ninja Warrior. Can't keep up." Babe, okay, you got me. Okay. Yeah, she's crazy. Well, it helps too. She's from Agate, right?
Okay.
But it's we just apply that patience we've learned from training under the stress and the exhaustion, all that patience, we brought that into our regular lives, and it's honestly been a crazy journey the past 5 years from where we started to where we're at right now. Our diet, our normal everyday lives, how we interact with the kids lives. They love how we come. I mean, my stepson, he's 12 years old now, and he tells me, Dad, thanks for raising me the way you do. I appreciate it. And coming from a 12-year-old, it's like, wow.
Yeah. Usually around that time, a 12-year-old is separating from their parents.
Yeah, they learn, how to.
You don't understand me.
They learn how to separate the middle finger from all the other fingers. It's, at least when I was 12, I was like, me too. And it's like, wow, I feel good about myself as a parent, that I feel like I'm doing a good job, So
what do you think they're seeing from their perspective of what you guys are doing, or what this Ninja Warrior pursuit is doing to you?
What I strive to show them versus what I think they see is what I strive for is I want to show them that, like I mentioned earlier, that no matter your circumstance, no matter who is around you or your friends, it's really comes down to you as a person, you as the person who's doing everything you do. You can't blame your friend for your faults, for your life. You can't blame your parents. You can't blame anyone but yourself. You need to take responsibility for what's happening in your life. Now, I understand there are certain things that are out of your control, right? Certain circumstances,
right?
But at the same time, you can't blame the circumstance. It's how you react to those circumstances that defines who you are.
Huh? Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to teach them, because I mean, if you want to give the stereotypical, outcome of who I was supposed to be, well, I should be in jail and I should be, locked away just because of how my childhood was. So you want to take that background of how I grew up well, then the road paved out was not a bright road.
Right.
Somewhere along the way, I broke away from that road and decided to better myself as a person. Now, just for the record, I didn't do anything crazy, like want to hurt people. I was just being a menace to society with like vandalism and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all naughty kids.
Yeah. So
apparently, to one of my friends, I'm his naughtiest friend. So I don't know what that means, but
but yeah,
didn't know that.
So with all the kids and I'm sorry, with my kids, I always teach them that what you do and how you react to your surroundings defines who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the message I try to get across to them. So what I think that the message they take away is every time they do something, I try to show them on the other side of, oh, it's unfair, and it's my right to have this iPad and blah, blah, blah. And I show them, other kids in our neighborhood, not trying to call them out, but I was like, look at that. That's your friend. He doesn't have an iPad. Like, it's not a right. It's a privilege. So once he learns and he sees it firsthand, he's like, wow, something clicks. And now the iPad's not a problem anymore because he's starting to connect, humanly connect with his peers, and like, wow, I didn't realize that not everybody has an iPad, not everybody has access to internet.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, there's
because kids these days are born into it.
Yeah, they're
right?
born into it,
I'm assuming you're not that much older. I'm 32. So.
Yeah, I'm 35.
Okay, so we grew up when Guam was still we still got cable a week late, right?
Yeah.
And we had to stand in line at Blockbuster.
Yeah,
right?
Blockbuster.
And we had
the sign's still up, by the way.
And we had 3 typhoons in 5 years, right?
Yeah, so living without power was like normal.
Right.
Yeah.
And not having nice stuff at our fingertips, trying to figure out how to play in the dark with your siblings nicely.
Yeah, nicely. There's that keyword, nicely.
That's a key word right there, right? And
it wasn't me. You can't prove it.
Yeah, and now it's you see kids and the media thing. I just saw a comedian say that a 5-year-old knows how to, knows how to open up a phone, or a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old knows how to open up a phone by pressing on the password.
Yeah, because they're brought up with it,
right?
To like they're teaching them before they even learn to speak. They're
so much smarter these days, and. And I don't have children myself, but I could imagine having to raise a child in this generation is a little bit tougher than it was the last generation.
Yeah.
We were easy kids to raise. No.
Well,
it's go outside.
Non-electronic kids.
Right,
yeah.
right.
I wouldn't say easy. You can ask my mom about that one.
Easy is relative, I guess.
Right.
Hey, enjoying this episode so far with Deren Perez. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast on the Apple Podcasts app. All right, back to the conversation. So you've seen this training. I don't even know what to call it, right? I mean, at least direct me in the correct way to the correct nomenclature. I don't know.
For what?
Just how to call it Ninja Warriors. Just Ninja Warrior.
So yeah, Ninja Warrior, like
the sport of Ninja Warrioring. Or being a ninja warrior.
So there's a lot of people who call it different things. So for me, I call it the sport of Ninja Warrior.
Okay.
So I mean, there's no basket or goal, whatever like that. But I mean, you got power walking in Olympics, and that's a sport. So if that's a sport, Ninja Warrior is a sport.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah, it takes some sort of athleticism
to
get through these obstacles, right?
Right.
So just the fact that you've seen it trickle down into different aspects of your life, do you see this as something is it possible to become a full-time, I want to call you a ninja, honestly.
A lot of people do. That's fine.
Yeah, be a full-time ninja?
Yeah, that's honestly that's the goal. So because I am in the military right now on active duty, that's obviously I can't do that yet. I have 5 more years to retire, but in that 5 years, I do plan to continue being a part-time ninja. And I'm setting up because 5 years is a good amount of time to start planning my retirement to do nothing but Ninja Warrior afterwards.
That's a business plan right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So can't give away too many secrets with that, but yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Right. How do you think you can? I guess I hope I'm aiding and abetting to your secrets, to revealing your secrets. How do you see that being translated into here? Do you think a lot of kids have potential to be as such? You know, like to pursue this dream, this passion to be a ninja warrior?
I think Guam has a lot of potential to do, I mean, just anything, just like anywhere else. I mean, we got people in NFL now.
Right.
You know, we got people, I mean, I'm doing Ninja Warrior, people doing baseball.
UFC.
UFC. So we have the potential, but I think what we do lack is that networking to get out of our comfort zone. So, like, for example, for me, I mean, I didn't start Ninja Warrior until I was like 31-ish.
Physical prime, bro.
You know, so so I mean, I didn't even start getting into the sport until then.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have kids who are like 18 years old who can fly higher than me. You know, it's just like, okay, well, if I started when your age, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But again, circumstances, I'm not gonna let that stop me. So I think like with us here, like I said, I was playing in the jungle, and little did I know, swinging from branch to branch in a tree, that I was going to be doing it on a TV show, you know?
Right.
So I think that we have the capabilities. We definitely have the ability and the agility to do so. We just need that guidance.
The opportunity?
The opportunities. So, you know, I know OCRs here on Guam. They just got here recently, like a few years ago.
Obstacle course
race.
Okay.
Yep. Obstacle course racing.
That was a guess.
Yeah. So that's
I think Tom Ekigami is the one that's responsible for bringing.
Yes, Tom. I'm actually working with Tom and doing a workshop tomorrow. So we'll be doing going over obstacles, because the difference between Ninja Warrior and OCR is Ninja Warrior is nothing but obstacles. OCR is like a mixture of running and obstacles in between.
But much smaller scale obstacles.
Smaller scale. So I think OCR is a great intro for those who want to go into like Ninja Warrior, because they do have some good obstacles. Me personally, I did OCR for a while, and I realized that I don't like running long distance.
Spartan Race is like an OCR.
Yeah,
right?
Spartan Race, Tough Mudder, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I think that's a really good intro into it, especially if you're young. I mean, because in high school you do sports, you got to do PE, so you got to run anyways. So, what a better way to introduce yourself into the Ninja Warrior by doing an OCR race? Because once you get into that, then you can start, preparing more for Ninja Warrior and stuff. And like I said, there's a lot of guys here on the island who are trying to, push OCR, because once that's big here, Ninja Warrior is soon to follow. Because I mean, their sports are intertwined. You can't separate them because they're obstacles.
The athletes are translatable, right?
Yeah.
Transitive.
Yeah.
I have every podcast. I have a problem with some English word at least 3 times. So that was number 2. Not like I'm counting. Yeah.
I'll just keep my 2 fingers.
Right. But. Okay, so just going back to OCR and the Ninja Warrior, and I guess bringing it here, right? So right now it's at the adult level, right? So there has to be some way to bring it down to like the kid level. I know they have the kid version of Trench Mudder.
Yeah.
Right? Tom's been on the podcast, so I'll promote you, Tom. Trench Mudder, right? So what would it be like a farm? Would you be farming kids the way they do like soccer? As far as for soccer, you have the little league and then you have the high school leagues. With this, do you see something like this being something they can introduce into high schools and stuff like that?
I definitely think that is something they can bring into the high school, because I know that the company is called World OCR, and they're the president of it, his name is Ian, and he's actually working with the Olympic Committee, and they're trying to bring OCR into the Olympics. Now, I know parkour, breakdancing, those all just got submitted and approved for the Olympics. I'm not sure if it's the 2024 Olympics.
Really? Confirm that, Matt, please.
Confirm that, brother.
Yeah.
It's true. I saw that on I forgot where I saw it, but I saw it. I was just like, this is crazy.
Yeah, but try and Google the newest Olympic sports for 2020. Japan, man.
Because I think it's 2024. I'm not,
2024?
I think so, but parkour and breakdancing has definitely become a part of it. And I was just like, if those are part of the Olympics, I do not see OCR being a problem.
Yeah,
because
being that far off either.
Yeah, I mean, just breakdancing. Like, how do you? I know they have breakdance battles and competitions, but like, how do you implement that as a sport? And I'm curious to see how they do it, because that would be amazing to watch.
Right.
And
it'll be like the floor exercise in gymnastics.
Yeah. those guys are crazy talented.
Sitting on this 9.3, 8.6,
Yeah.
5.5,
Yeah.
3.3.
So yeah, I'm like, that would be,
Whoa, who gave it 3.3? What an ass.
holding up your little cue card.
Right. All right. So the new sports and events for these upcoming ones. I really want to go to these next Olympics in Tokyo. I'm going to the World Cup in October.
Nice.
The Rugby World Cup. I guess click on just click on that one, that link on the bottom. I wonder if it's gonna at least like really map out what are the newest sports.
I doubt it's gonna be. Oh, it's skateboarding. I forgot about skateboarding. They added that as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, skateboarding is there.
Surfing's
now nice. Yeah, I heard about surfing because in San Diego, where I'm at, the Coast Guard. That's why I'm in the Coast Guard. We just got tasked to do water security, because they're having the Olympics there.
The qualifiers.
Yeah, qualifiers in California, and I was like, huh. And then surfing is one of them. So that's gonna be interesting.
Okay, so archery, go down. Please. I'm learning how to say please to Matt.
No problem.
I think it was. Who was it that was telling me I have a please problem?
I think Teddy.
Teddy Salas.
Salas.
Yeah, he lives in LA.
Yeah. I know Teddy. I used to hang out in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, small world.
Yeah.
Okay, basketball, boxing. Okay, those are all. Try going down a little bit more.
Those are all like already in the Olympics.
Right. Okay, so there's sport climbing.
Yeah.
Water polo is already.
Yeah, that's
Table tennis already. Swimming. Okay, go up. So new sport. Yeah, sport climbing. So that's speed climbing, bouldering.
Yeah, I knew bouldering.
Speed climbing.
Because speed climbing's been in it last year, or the last Olympics.
What's bouldering exactly?
So bouldering it's climbing without a harness.
Oh, that's what you're saying, the 15-foot mat.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I believe it's 15 feet, because if you go to a bouldering gym, it's like you have all these different routes, and I think the wall is only as tall as about roughly 15 feet.
Uh-huh.
And then you just basically, you have a route, and you climb, and you finish the route, and then that's bouldering.
Do they fall into a foam pit, or is it
there's mats. There's mats there, yeah.
Yeah, that still hurts. Right?
That's not that bad. They're softer mats than the one you use for jiu-jitsu, so.
Yeah, okay. Understood. Okay, go up. Shootings already.
Yeah, I don't think it's there on that one. I mean, I saw it somewhere.
Try for 20. He said 2024, right?
Yeah, just try entering like parkour into Olympics or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing when people watch the Olympics now. Then all of a sudden we're all experts, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Oh, what a horrible.
ARKOUR. Yep.
Maybe not 2020. I think he mentioned 2024. Gymnastics eyes parkour is sport.
There you
So
go.
it'll be part of
2024.
gymnastics. Go to that first one.
So wondering if they're gonna do it like how they do running. they have like the 100-meter dash, but it's all under running. And then you have like the long distance.
Right.
So I wonder if they're
Relay.
gonna enter parkour under the gymnastics, but its own division, I guess.
So this is from the KKTV 11 News, I guess, sports column. Tested their skills. Try going down where it mentions them being in the Olympics. Here we go. Using its financial muscle and clout within the Olympic movement, the Fédération Internationale de Gymnastique is steadily bringing, critics saying, forcing parkour under its wing. This month, the FIG Congress officially recognized parkour as gymnastics' newest discipline. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's they're aiming for the 2024, and yeah, like I said, I mean, parkour is getting into the Olympics. It's crazy times.
Yeah, look at the bottom. It says, all this despite a "We Are Not Gymnastics" protest movement by parkour lovers on social media.
It's funny they say that because like Ninja Warrior, like people out there would like fight tooth and nail. Ninja Warrior is not OCR. Because OCR you run, Ninja Warrior you fly, you do other stuff. So it's like
even as tied in or intertwined they are.
There's that a lot of people would not. I mean, because I personally agree that Ninja Warrior it's its own entity and OCR it's its own.
So if they were to put Ninja Warrior or that's the thing. If they were to put in the Olympics, you can bring it.
It's gonna go under OCR.
Okay.
And I see that because essentially Ninja Warrior is an obstacle course. Now, it may not be a race, but it is a course. Now, obstacle course racing, obviously, it's a race, right? It's who can finish the fastest with obstacles in the way. So I'm thinking they're gonna do what they did with gymnastics and parkour. Parkour is not gymnastics, but they're putting it under gymnastics as a separate discipline. And I'm thinking they're going to do the same for Ninja Warrior under OCR as a separate discipline. Now,
but do you think OCR would be a subcategory of another category, say track and field?
That's a good one actually, because you do have obstacles in track and field when they're up. I don't know. I mean, because if you look at climbing, it became its own version and then they had speed climbing under it, right, as a separate discipline.
Okay.
Bouldering and all that. So I think maybe OCR might get its own and then have its separate discipline, because like in Spartan they have what's called a beast, which is I think like a 20K or something. Don't quote me on that, but like they have a 5K, they have a 10K. So I think they're gonna have different disciplines there, and then like the ninja will probably fall under like 100 meter. 400 meter, something like that.
I see.
Like, so separate discipline. That's what
Right.
I think that's gonna happen. But I mean, who knows? I mean, 'cause they can want one thing and then Olympics say no, this is how we're doing it, type deal.
Do you know how far off OCR is from being in the Olympics? Can you look that up too, Matt?
I think they're estimating 2024. Please.
Yeah.
You're getting the hang of this.
I am. It's only been like 20 episodes. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I mean, I hope that it gets in there by 2024. But what I would like to see it in the Olympics, but what I do hope is that they don't lose like the spirit of Ninja Warrior. And what I mean by the spirit is, so Ninja Warrior, it's not standardized. Every course you go through, it's no one knows what the course is. You show up and it's in a different configuration, and it's not always the same obstacles. You can have variations of different balance obstacles.
Is that at every level?
Yeah, at every level, from children to professionals.
Oh, so nobody, even at the lowest levels, or not the lowest levels, but even at the local levels, you don't get a test run.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's like the spirit of Ninja Warrior is, here's the course, demonstration, rules, that's it. And you have to use that mental imaging to figure out how to do the course. And a lot of times, that's just the way it's become. And Ninja Warrior itself, that's if they take that away and standardize it, well, you will have this obstacle. Well, then you ever seen that stuff on YouTube or Instagram where you have two guys and they're just really running across this floor?
Yeah.
It's like, that's crazy awesome, but
And they're going at like super speeds.
yeah, like superhuman speed,
Yeah, climbing the ladder in like 5 seconds.
Yeah. So I mean, those are cool and all, but I mean, that's not really Ninja Warrior. It's like, it's one course exactly the same, and people are just gonna end up becoming speed demons.
And they're super experts at it.
Yeah, at that course. That's
Right.
it. So it's like that takes everything away from what we know right now as Ninja Warrior.
Right. You're opening my mind to my preconceived notions about Ninja Warrior. I thought it was something that everybody get you get qualifying runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a NASCAR race or
So like our qualifying runs, like I said, in the UK they call it the heats, and in the States they call it like the city qualifiers.
Okay.
Your qualifying runs are from exactly that, from zero. This is the rules, and this is one person will demonstrate it,
Yeah.
and then that's all you get.
What do you got for us, Matt?
This is Lex Part 2. Take a look at this.
Okay, it says there will be 100. Okay, according to USA Obstacle Course Racing,
Mm-hmm.
OCR is the number one mass participation sport in the world with more than 4 million people. Oh, here we go. We are well on our way to becoming established as an international sport and satisfying the International Olympic Committee's required criteria of universality, yeah, financial viability, governance, development of the sport, care and cultivation of athletes, history and tradition, and the value brought by the sport. I know this might be the longest marathon of my life. I've run the Ultra 100s, but my philosophy is to announce something publicly and put yourself on the hook for it. No mistake, OCR is coming to the Olympics. See you in LA. When was this written? Go up. This is on the Spartan, I guess, race website.
Yeah.
I guess there's no date. 2028.
2028.
Interesting.
So another 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, I know another article mentioned they're aiming for 2024. So I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But again, that's OCR.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to introduce Ninja Warrior into that, because I know they're trying to.
Yeah. Is there like a standing body, a governing body for Ninja Warrior? Besides the television shows and stuff like that?
As of right now, the television show, TBS is a company in Japan, and they own all rights, anything related to Ninja Warrior. So, like any Ninja Warrior companies around the world,
Like UK or the Vietnam one?
Vietnam, here, they're in the States, they all have to pay royalties to TBS in Japan, the original Sasuke. So, anything Ninja Warrior has to go through there. So if they go to the Olympics using the sport of Ninja Warrior, they're going to have to call it something else. They can't say Ninja Warrior. They might call it like, Ninja Obstacles or Warrior Obstacle. I don't know, but they can't use that because that's going to be, copyright. And
Right.
so, yeah, because I think China, they did something like Sasuke and they used it as such, but they end up calling it, I forgot what it's called. They call it something else, like Extreme Warrior or something like that. And that's how they got away with it. But they haven't done one since, because I think TBS is like, yo, this is not cool. This is exactly my show,
Right.
my obstacles, blah blah blah. But they called it something else, and I mean, I haven't seen them since. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Very, very interesting. So it seems like all these pieces have to come together, and Japan, that company has to somehow agree.
yeah. So like in the States right now, they have actually like leagues, like you're talking about how they have soccer leagues for like the kids and whatnot. They have leagues in the States for Ninja Warrior.
I call them farm schools.
Farm schools.
Yeah.
We have farm schools in the States. And the first league, it's called NNL, National Ninja League. Again, can't call it Ninja Warrior, so they call it the NNL. And they have qualifiers around the world, and only top 3 competitors of each qualifier get invited to the World Finals. So you got the top
Like
three guys
representing the country.
representing whoever they want to represent. So say in California, right, there was like a few qualifiers there. I qualified, so technically I qualified in America. You know, I'm an American citizen, so it's fine. But every time I go, I always bring my flag because I'm representing Guam.
Right.
But you got the Aussies who qualify in Australia. Of course, they're going to represent them. But you can represent whoever you want. You have to go to a qualifier. So there's no like limitations on internationals and whatnot. You can qualify anywhere. I mean, you can be from Singapore with no NNL in Singapore, come to the States and try to qualify there. If you qualify, you're top 3, you qualified, you got a ticket to, obviously you have to pay your own way, but you got a ticket allowing you to come to the World Championships.
The World Championships.
Yeah.
Which is usually held in the U.S.
Yes.
So it seems like the U.S. kind of took it and said, we're going to turn this into something bigger.
Yep, it's exactly what it is because no one else is doing it. And we want something outside the show because the show only shows what they want people to see.
Right.
Because it's a TV show.
Right.
Whereas
the commentators and then the runs
and then the background
Right.
of people.
Like
so it's like
Darren's friends, right?
Yeah.
Over here. In
Yeah.
the side.
or their stories,
Yeah.
of this person overcame, whatever life like threatening.
For sure.
So, whereas you have a lot of people who didn't have, we call them sob stories. They didn't have a story like that, but they're really good. So it's like, why are they left out? That's like they're really good. They would dominate in the sport,
Mm-hmm.
but they just don't have a story.
Right.
So
There's no entertainment value.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they have the NNL, and they're just beasting it. They're beasting it, and it's like, well, that's actually worth something because I see that sport, that league going somewhere because they just ended their 4th season a few months ago in February, and they're now going to season 5, I think.
Are they trying to separate themselves from the production value of it?
Well,
Or are they
they're trying to
feed
introduce it
to
as an actual sport.
Hmm.
So just like, all right, this is a sport. This is what we're introducing. Like football, when they first started out, right? So a couple of guys playing in the field, and then they slowly started getting bigger and bigger, gaining audience. And for what? For the sport itself. No background, no cool stories,
Okay.
none of that stuff. Now, you still get access to that on ESPN, the outside of that, but most people don't really care for it. They want to watch the game. So right now with Ninja Warrior, people want to see the stories. They don't want to watch the actual course. So I think what they're doing is, well, there are a lot of more people interested in only the course. So I think they're trying to take that away from the TV show and make an actual league, an actual sport of ninja.
like people being able to represent
Mm-hmm.
certain areas, whether it be a region or a district or a country?
Yes, it's exactly that. So it's good. It's interesting to see what they're doing, and I've participated in 2 of their leagues, and each time I've made it to the World Finals. And that's just one league. There's 2 leagues out in the U.S. So there's NNL, and there's also the UNAA, Ultimate Ninja Athlete Association. So I mean, that's another one as well.
You're a part of both of them?
Yeah. I
Okay.
compete in both of them. So, and then so the NNL, it's kind of good because they complement each other. So NNL will go through one season, and then as the NNL is ending, the UNA is just starting to pick up. So that season will go, and then when that one ends, the NNL will pick up. So it's like ninja year round long.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually in July I have the UNAA World Finals coming up in Michigan.
And how do you qualify for that?
So each one, so NNL, right? They qualify as top 3 of each qualifier. That's it. UNAA is a little bit different. They have area qualifiers, and then they have regionals. So the area qualifiers, top 50% of each area will then go to the regional. So like you have the South,
Which is
California.
more of what I was trying to describe earlier. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like South California will have like an area. North California have an area. Nevada, So all those places will have their own area qualifiers, and top 50% of each area will get invited to regionals,
West regionals, right, or something.
Southwest regionals.
Like that? Okay.
So then Southwest regionals will have a qualifier, and only top 3 of each regionals get invited. And I got first place at each regionals.
Damn, dude.
And so I already qualified for one, so they gave my other spot to someone else because I can't just take some spot.
Now I'll take both runs.
so yeah, I'm going to regionals. I'm sorry, I'm going to world finals, and that'll be.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, in 5 years, what you've been able to accomplish in the Ninja Warrior world, dude, it's like, how come no one's talking about you more?
I think that's my problem is my wife always tells me that she's nice. She tells me I'm humble. I think I'm just like, well, the people want to know about me, they'll find out.
For sure.
That's just me. Is if they want to know, they'll ask.
You're not here for the clout or
No.
anything like that.
I'm not
That's
here.
the first time I ever used that word. My goodness, Matt. Not only are we using words that don't exist, we're using new words. Yeah, but you're not into the fame or the celebrity aspect of it.
No, I mean, like the interviews, like this podcast, that's cool. I did an interview with KUM a few times, and all that stuff is really cool. I enjoy it,
Right.
but I don't do it for that. I don't do it for those reasons. I do it because this is, like you said, my obsession. This is my thing. I love doing it,
Right.
and being up there, whether it's just my family watching or the entire arena filled with people. I get just as nervous each time, no matter how many people is there, because I want to know what I'm capable of. And that's why I'm nervous, because am I going to mess up on something? Like I said, it could be my daughter watching me, just her. And I'll still be just as nervous because I want to make sure I'm doing good for myself.
Right.
So,
how do you settle those nerves under that kind of pressure?
I think if my wife backhanded me, no, I'm just joking.
Get your shit together now.
Don't you mess up. No.
Oh, you know what happens when we get home, right?
So I'll play around a lot, like about her, but I mean, I always have her in the back of my head, and that's really like how I get through it. Is I hear her in my mind, like, honey, just breathe. You got this. You train this way. You train with adrenaline. You train for this. There's nothing you can't do. Just breathe and go for it.
Right.
And in the backstage, before even when I'm upstage, I'm not staring at the crowd. I'm staring at the course. I'm imagining each foot placement, each hand placement of what I'm going to do. And I'm breathing. I'm just.
How long do you usually
breaths.
have to do so? Which allows, what is the length of time you have to look at a course and to be able to calculate it in your mind, where each step, where each finger and which hand needs to go?
From on the TV shows, you have sometimes a couple hours to like an entire day because of filming. Because filming anywhere from 60 to 100 people in one day, it takes a lot of time because they don't just do run, failed, reset, next person. They do reset, all right, camera checks, all right, cool, cast, you need to take a break, audience starting to get bored, let's hype them up. So there are a lot of breaks in between just to keep everything running smoothly. And so by the time that's all done and said, running number 2's up, and it's like, damn, I'm number like 30. Yeah.
Look at your watch, like,
Yeah.
oh
and
shit,
then,
it's gonna be a long day.
and sometimes you're like, oh, I'm up soon. Okay. Actually, right when you're about to go up on stage, you're like, oh, actually, we're gonna take a lunch break. And you're like, oh, fuck, I just got all the nerves out, and now I have to go through all that again.
Right.
So it varies from time to time, and that's part of the experience of Ninja Warrior is you don't just go and do it. It's not like, okay, this is game time, go. Basketball is like, okay, 7:30,
Yeah.
tip off. No, it's all right. We're gonna start rules here. Figure out your own, your crap from there.
Mm.
They'll post a list of the run order. So it's like, okay, run order's there. I'm what number? Okay, if I'm number 1, then it's okay. I have about, after rules, I probably have maybe 20, 30 minutes until the first person goes. So it's like, okay, I got to get my mental game going. I got to start, well, usually I'll be stretching before that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a process.
So it really varies on
Oh.
your run order.
Yep.
And so how many different obstacles are there, and are there any that you've never done, like where you show up to an event, you're like, the hell is that thing?
Almost every single time.
Okay.
Almost every single time I show up, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, are you serious right now?
Where do they make up this thing at?
Yeah, usually like I like in my hometown, back in the States, I just be like, Mike, seriously, who made this? No, never again. It's like I call him out. I was like, no, who made this? I want to have a talk with you. Like, this is not happening. But I mean, usually,
What do you mean the upside down crab walk hanging flip obstacle?
Yeah, it's just like, no, what were you guys doing? Drinking last night? Yeah, it's fun and games, though. It's
For sure.
it's really good though, because it really tests your might. It tests your mind, everything. So I that's why I think I like it, because no one is 100% ready, and it really depends on your adaptability. And I think that's where like my biggest plus is being adaptable. That's like my
I mean, shit, you made up your own gym.
yeah,
Since you started.
my own not just my gym, but like how I train, my own training regimen and all that. So yeah.
And there was something I wanted to touch on. Oh, the environment. You know what I mean? What is the community like? Is it a very competitive community or a very supportive community?
So the community actually is so it depends on where you're at physically. So like I know in the UK, I absolutely love the Ninja Warrior community there. Of course, the people you're competing with are competitive, but at the same time, they're supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy who got the fastest time is standing there next to you is like, yo, go, you can do it. Don't give up. Don't give up. I end up beating his time, and he comes and gives me a hug. You know what I mean? It's like, there's like, it's not like, oh, fuck this guy, he cheated. No, no, it's like, wow, this guy's standing there pushing me, So I really love that. And I do get that, in the States as well and other countries, but I felt the UK was probably the strongest as far as being supportive. I mean, those guys out there, that's where I started my Ninja Warrior journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I call them my UK Ninja family. So they're very supportive. You have your group of people, and every time someone new comes in, it's not, who is that? Screw that guy. It's whether they're good or they suck, they're family, and I love that. And in the States, obviously, a lot of people are competitive. And unless you go up and talk to people or you're really good, then people probably just won't talk to you just because like, oh, I don't know who that is. Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
Good luck, chump.
yeah, it's just like, oh, someone's writing. Okay. Oh, cool. Oh yeah, by the way, blah 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 blah. I was like, okay. Whereas other places, like everyone's just sucked in on zoning in on what's going on.
Right.
So I definitely feel like the UK, for me personally, is a better support system. But overall, I think Ninja Warrior is probably the most supportive community you'll find out there. Because what competitor is going to come up to you and tell you to push harder and keep going? And that happens in every country I compete in.
Right. Huh. Whew. Matt, how long have we been going here?
Hour 25?
Nice. This is usually the time when things start, winding down, and we try to touch an hour.
Yeah.
Try to touch an hour, and we've done a good job.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad you learned.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my mindset about Ninja Warrior was so narrow.
Yeah.
Right. And when they did American Ninja Warrior, I was like, what? They're doing a spin-off of the Japanese one?
Yeah.
Boring, right?
Right. Yeah.
There was just no real respect for it as a sport. I was just like, oh shit, another TV show like American Gladiator. Right?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
And just to sit down here with you and sort of go through the motions of, I guess, learning about the inner workings of what it takes to be one. I mean, shit, you guys are athletes. It's definitely a sport. there is a mental aspect to it, and my respect just went like for it, right? I just might watch
I
some
appreciate that.
just might watch some Ninja Warrior episodes after this.
Yeah, I mean, the sport is definitely, a lot of people, like, they base everything they see just off the TV show.
Yeah.
And TV is TV. I mean, look at the news, right? Half of it's true. The other half is like, it's one person's opinion.
Right.
So it's like, well, what do you really believe? So like Ninja Warrior, that's why I really like it, because it's so complex, but at the same time it's so simple, know. So it's like, I don't know, it's an up and down ride, and I love it.
Yeah. Now that you're in your mid-30s, do you think there's?
Shit, don't say that out loud.
Well, you already mentioned your age earlier. Do you think that there's gonna be? When do you think your physical limit's gonna be reached, as far as like competitive wise, right? By the time you retire in 5 years, you'll be in your 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you see yourself really continuing it as a full-blown sport? Is there some kind of physical limitations you're worried
I will say
about?
that one of my good friends on Ninja Warrior, American Ninja Warrior, he told me that this year is his last year competing, and 4 years ago he said that as well. And today, that man, his name is John Stewart. They call him the Rock Man.
Okay.
He is, I want to say, 58, and he still competes on the show, and international, and he's really strong. So, will I be done in 5 years? Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. I'm gonna keep pushing so long as my body will allow me to, and my family will allow me to. And if I know my family, they're family for a reason. So it's my body that has to hold up, and as long as I take care of my body, I think I'll be doing good. A lot of people make fun of me because I stretch for like an hour before competing.
Oh shit.
And
You're like a noodle.
I gotta do it, because if you don't take care of your body, I mean, your body can take care of you.
Right.
So
For sure.
yeah.
Do you do any workouts outside of Ninja Warrior training? Like maybe yoga, or
I tried yoga here and there, and I will say, Jay, that's hard.
yeah,
Yoga is hard. No joke. But I will play your traditional sports every once in a while, basketball, softball, flag football.
Yeah.
But I won't actually get into it. I know back in San Diego, like my wife and kids, mostly my daughter, we're starting to get into traditional Chamorro dancing. So, because we want to keep the heritage alive. I want to teach the kids, being raised out in the States. I don't want them to be one of those statessiders who go to the States. I'm proud Chamorro, but know nothing of my culture. And, my daughter's interested now. So
and I think San Diego and LA have two of the biggest communities.
Yeah.
As far as their Q from Island Block Radio,
Mm-hmm.
his mom was the one that started the one in LA, over in Long Beach.
Nice.
So I know that and he's heavily a part of it too.
Okay.
And
I'm
if
not
you're ever
sure.
interested in doing the one in LA, let me know, and I'll
We're down in San Diego. That lives a
Okay.
bit far.
okay. Well,
But-
if you
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know for sure. I mean, I'm not sure what the name of the group that my wife found and joined, because they only did it when I was gone. So when I get back, I'll be introduced to everybody and the new kid.
nice.
Yeah, but it'll be good, to get out there and do something aside from Ninja Warrior. But as far as training and all that, I think majority of my training, I mean, I do calisthenics, like I mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
plyometrics, but it's all Ninja Warrior based.
I see.
Yeah, and bouldering, obviously.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned. I really want to touch on this because this is something that really interests me. I always talk to. Not always, but I have talked to people who grew up in the States.
Mhm.
Was an entire generation of raised in the States, and now, when people do continue to want to raise their kids stateside,
Mhm.
right? Was there any worry for you as far as doing so, was having kids and being out there? Was there ever any want to come home to raise, like, there's some people that I know, they're like, okay, I'm gonna live out there, and as soon as I have kids, I'm gonna come back and raise them here.
There was a lot of worry as far as raising kids out in the States because, you know, being raised in Guam, I mean, you can see it. There's a huge difference between being raised in the States. I mean, any race, really.
For sure.
So they won't get the same appreciation like I did growing up for the land, the culture, and just, you know, the family as much. So obviously we're out there. We do have each other, but when you're back home, you know, almost every weekend you got barbecues, you got family get-togethers, and you got big families. So there's always people to rely on. Whereas in the States, you just have just us.
Right.
So that's what I was worried about is losing the culture. And me and my wife, we did what we could to help, you know, keep them knowledgeable. But our knowledge only goes so far as well.
For sure.
So that's why we're entering this dance group, because they're not only a dance group, but they also teach the adults and the kids in the group. I think they spend like a half an hour before every practice of just learning about the Chamorro culture. So it's like it's a Chamorro class as well as a dance group. So that's really cool.
Like, it's as immersive as can be.
Yeah.
As if you're on Guam itself.
Yeah, as best as
or
we can
sitting
be.
in a school, because Guam's changing in itself too, right?
Yeah,
You know,
definitely. Every time I come back, it's like, whoa.
Like, shit, a new franchise is here.
Yeah. Ruby Tuesdays.
You know, but it's cool that there are people who are huge advocates for fighting for the culture here. Just the fact that we have to fight for culture here is amazing in itself.
Yeah.
You know, and I know
agree.
and it's gonna be an uphill battle as more people come to Guam and bring their influences
Right.
here, right? And eventually people are, and the fact that we're so connected with the world. When we were kids, we were barely connected to the world.
Yeah.
Right.
There's like next to nothing.
Right. It's like you got your friends down the street or your friends from school.
Yeah.
And you didn't have friends online because there's no online, right?
No. we didn't have was it MSN Messenger until like high school. It's like, oh, this is the coolest thing. Check out this emoji.
Yeah. Oh shit, we can talk to each other. I just saw you at school. Yeah, dude. One of the most powerful things that's been said to me on this podcast that made me have a better understanding of Chamorros, or even people who have ties to Guam, whether they're Chamorro or not, battle and struggle through, and it gave me a better appreciation for it, and made my mind less veiled to that. Was he goes, dude, the only Chamorro culture I do know, and this is Joe Danzy, he said, is what my grandfather taught me, and he was on Guam in the 70s and 80s, so that's Guam culture that I know. You know, I don't know the stuff that you guys are doing this decade or in the last 20 years, because that's not what was taught to me. Right. And it was just like I was just like blown away. I was like, wow. Yeah. I never thought of it like that. Because it's like
the impression they got is that was it.
Right. It's like a time warp for me. Right? Like this is what Guam's like, and it's only in their imagination. And it was the first time he came here was last month.
Wow.
So, and I know he had a great time, and I know he plans on coming back again, because I think something hit in him that, you know, he really wanted to be a proponent of culture, really represent his Guam roots. But he's also black too, but also represent his black roots.
Okay, yeah, of course, you got to represent the East Side, yeah.
Right. So yeah, dude, I was just curious because there is an entire generation of kids who will grow up again. Yeah.
With the lack of knowledge and culture.
Yeah, but I think they have an advantage to those who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, the knowledge is more accessible nowadays than it was back then.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely so. I mean, you have the phone. You can FaceTime with your auntie who's here, right?
Yeah.
Boy, don't worry, we'll bring you here, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I just met a niece and nephew in New Jersey, and they never even, like, been to Guam.
Wow.
And we're like, you know, it looks like you got to come with your grandpa to Guam, you know? And it's like, to know your culture, you know, to experience, right?
Firsthand.
There's something to know it there's another on the other hand, it's to experience it.
Yeah.
So, but dude, thank you so much for coming, dude, hitting me up. I know I hit you up about doing one, but
a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, and so I appreciate you letting me know that you're here.
Yeah,
to sit down, and I hope you had a good time. You know?
Oh yeah, it was great just sitting down, chit chatting with you. So all the listeners out there, I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. I mean, let me know if there's any other questions. I mean, I'm glad to answer them.
For sure, of how to be
a ninja warrior, or training tips, or just about my naughty childhood, whatever. Hit me up,
YouTube page, man. You got one?
I do have a YouTube page, but I mean, I haven't actually uploaded anything to it in a long time, because I just been more so along of training and actually doing stuff rather than recording it.
Right.
So I usually on Instagram the most.
Okay, how can people follow you? Before you go into that, how can people follow you, and what is the best way for people to, gosh, how do I even say this? Follow you
to keep up with me.
Keep up with you. Oh my goodness, what am I looking for?
Number 4. I'm not counting.
I have a brain fart right now. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
All right.
Oh, what you got coming up next?
Oh,
there it is.
Okay.
There it is.
So, the easiest way to keep up with me is Instagram. And you can follow me at guams.ninja.warrior. Facebook, same thing. Deren Perez, Guam's Ninja Warrior. Twitter, I'm on there at Guam's Ninja. I don't tweet a lot, but I am there. And also, like I said, just that's the best way to keep up with me with everything that's going on. Hit me up for training tips, information, just whether it be ninja related, OCR, or even just your general like fitness. Hit me up. I have a lot of people always asking me about my diet. That's the number one thing I get the most.
God, that's the only thing we didn't touch on either.
We
always do the diet.
I could touch on that in a minute. And then as far as upcoming events, so I did Ninja Warrior UK. I am in the grand finale, and actually tomorrow night it airs. The grand finale, stage 1 airs in the UK. So keep an eye on my Instagram. I'll definitely post links to the run, and hopefully can make the island proud again. And then later on this summer, we have Sasuke Vietnam going to be airing. And then I'm also going to be competing at the UNA World Finals. So I have a lot of big things coming up this summer. And then, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the end of the year because there's just so much going on right now. But yeah, as far as most current, those are it.
Cool. Dude, let me know when you come back. We'll do this again. Sit down, and I know it's going to be so much more story to tell you. I'm looking at your hands, and it's such... It looks like a black belt's hands. Honestly, dude, it's
sausage
very
fingers.
Yeah, just very built, and it just looks very used.
Thanks. Not a model hand, but yeah, you can see all the.
It's called experience.
Experience.
Those hands have experience.
Yeah,
that's what I meant by used.
Whoa, let's keep it PG.
But thank you so much, dude. Let's do this again. Definitely.
Every May I come out to pick up my kids.
Okay.
So I'm here every May.
Every May it is.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, once again for listening to another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. And Maddie, when you do review the podcast, we'll read it here
5
on
stars.
the podcast.
5 stars.
Hopefully.
At least this episode.
And thank you so much once again for listening. Maddie loves you. I love you. And
I love you too.
Yes, Deren loves you too. And until next time, peace out. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode with Deren Perez, Guam's Ninja Warrior. Don't forget to check him out on his social media to follow him on his journey in being a Ninja Warrior. This is awesome, and he's awesome. Shout out to the sponsors, Addis Mortuary. They are a small, family-owned and operated mortuary. That is large enough to serve, yet small enough to care. Shout out to the Electric Island Festival, Guam's premier electronic music festival, returning for its 7th season on Saturday, June 22nd, inside the Guerrero Field at Paseo. Tickets available at all food locations and EIF Guam 201.eventbrite.com. Episode 200 is coming up, and oh gosh, it's gonna be super awesome, and I hope that you want to come and experience what we're putting together. It's gonna be super badass. Don't forget to support us on Patreon, rate the podcast. I love you so much. Thank you for being super awesome.